Mike Bohn joined by Jared Cannonier once again ahead of Saturday's UFC main event against Caio Borralho. Jared, I know you wanted a quick turnaround after the last fight. Don't need to get too much into the stoppage. I think we all know it was questionable at best, but to get the turnaround that you kind of wanted to get back in there. I know it's not the rematch, but are you at least satisfied with this situation?
I'm happy to get another fight. I'm always happy to get offered fights from the UFC, and I'm happy to get one offered one soon. It's good to get back to business. Stay busy. I didn't want another long layoff, so I'm glad they listened to me in that regard and booked me real quick. Considering this is a somewhat short notice fight, but it's like the second short notice fight they offered me since the Imavov fight, so they did listen to me big time.
Yeah, so what's the other one, the Kevin Holland one in Denver? Like, I don't think people really knew what was going on there, like if he was trolling or if it was real. How real or how close to that was that to happening?
Well, they did offer me the fight, but I couldn't take it because I had blown up, gotten too heavy, and I wasn't able to take the fight on 3 weeks' notice, 5 rounds at elevation. So an opportunity missed there for me, but I'm glad they kept my number at the top of the list and gave me a call soon for another fight. So I'm happy to get another one going.
Yeah, is Kevin Holland on the hit list now? I mean, I feel like he's poked some shots at you like throughout that thing and in the aftermath too. He'll always be like, "Oh, Jared, oh, Jared."
Well, if he did, I didn't hear, or I don't have any. I don't know what the hell he was saying. So I don't have any. I've never had any animosity towards the man. He's very entertaining as a fighter, and he's a Texan too. So that's one more cool point for me, if you will. So no, I ain't got no problems with him. I'll definitely fight him at the drop of a dime. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, no, you got this one and a good fight. Caio's obviously doing some good things, 6-0 in the UFC so far. Was he like on your radar at all as a guy that you've watched? Did you watch any of his fights so far? And were you like, maybe this is a guy I might run into one day?
I have seen his fights. I like to watch all the middleweight fights. You know what I'm saying? New guys, new and old. So yeah, I've definitely seen his fights. Aware he called me out like last year sometime, so he's been wanting to get a fight with me. And at the time, I was in a different place, had a different point of view, if you will. So that's changed, especially after the last fight. So, he's kept his winning ways, and now we get to meet. So, yeah, all the stuff he's said about me, he said, anything that he's ever said, he'll get to, answer for it, see if it's true, make it come true or not.
What changed in terms of the thought process that you just alluded to there?
Sometimes for me, being so high in the rankings, being close to another title shot, I think I put a little bit of pressure on myself. I think there was always conversations with randoms about, titles next, title this, title that, and focusing more on what could be, you know what I mean, as opposed to what was next, and not to say that I wasn't focused on my opponents or focused in camp or focused on my fight, but it's just a mental, I don't know, I guess it feels like it's been a weight lifted off, not having to think about, okay, the implications of this fight. Not to say that there aren't bad implications if I lose. Not to say that I'm not concerned at the dangers that each of these contests present. But I feel like I get to just go in there and instead of trying not to lose, you know what I mean? Focus more on doing my thing and handling business and getting that win.
Yeah, I love that. What did he say that you feel he's going to have to answer for on Saturday?
Like the same shit that they all say, that he's old, he's getting slow and stuff like that. But it's not that I'm like, oh, he said what? Now I'm mad. It's nothing like that. I don't care what people say. People gonna say what they want to say. I'm gonna get paid to fight you anyway. I don't need to be mad at you or hear that you said something to change my idea about the fact that we're gonna fight and what I want to do in this. But so yeah, that's what it is. So yeah.
Yeah. I did talk to him a couple of weeks ago, and he was pretty respectful. Especially, he said the stoppage in the Imov fight was complete garbage, and he thought you got a raw deal there and stuff, which I think is what most people thought. Obviously, Imavov is fighting Brendan Allen in Paris, and you kind of campaigned for that spot. Was there any talk at all of doing that rematch there?
No.
Yeah. Did that disappoint you, or you're good because you're fighting sooner, and you would have had to wait another month and change to get that fight?
To be honest, the rematch wasn't actually petitioning for the rematch wasn't necessarily all my idea. It was more so the team's idea, my management idea, ours collectively. It wasn't solely. I'm like, I want a rematch, but it was an idea. It was a good idea, not a bad idea, and it was worth a shot. So the worst they could say is no, and move on. So yeah.
Is that is one of those things? I mean, not to get too much into it, but like looking back on that, do you take some important lessons on things maybe you need to do from that fight being stopped early, or do you just request that Jason Herzog not referee any more of your fights?
No, I'm not going to be salty like that. Herzog is a good referee, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And he's human. We all make mistakes or erroneous judgments, you know what I mean, to whatever degree we may perceive them to be. He was just doing his job and keeping me safe, or, what I'm saying, getting paid off to let the Frenchman win. I don't know. But whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? I didn't go in there and knock out Imavov, so this is what I have to deal with. Going into the future, as far as the fight itself goes, that's what I get the lessons from, not the unfortunate things that may have happened about the stoppage and shit like that. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Hopefully these refs will give me an opportunity. If they see me on my feet, don't stop the fight. You won't see me on my feet like a speed bag or a punching bag getting battered, you know what I mean? How the speed bag makes the sound or something like that. You won't see that. You know what I'm saying? You'll always see me moving, covering, throwing some strikes back when the time is right. So if I'm on my feet, don't stop the fight. But, you guys have a job to do too. So keep me safe as well.
Yeah, seems reasonable. Another main event of the Apex for you. I think I saw a stat that the only person after this fight that will have more Apex main events as you will be Sean Strickland, who has 5, and this will be your 4th. Is this place kind of feeling like home for you at this point?
Yeah, man, I like the Apex. Yeah, I guess so. Until I become popular enough till they put me in the Sphere or some shit like that. But I'm not super popular. I'm not I'm not one of these promotable fighters. I don't self-promote myself, you know what I mean? The only promotion that we get is what, content creators put out or what the UFC has put out based on, and stuff like that. So people keep trying to say, man, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this, we can do that, but that's not my energy. That doesn't resonate in my heart and my soul. You know what I mean? That's why I quit a 6-figure job just to do this, because this fighting resonates with my heart and soul. But getting on the internet, saying some shit for the camera so somebody can give me some money does not resonate with my soul. Unless it's something that I can agree with. Unless you got me talking about video games, smoking some weed, fighting, certain types of music that I can deal with, shit that interests me. Then I can be on here. I can promote that. But or do something cool. But I can't do. I'm not here to. It's just not in my soul to be a market man or I don't know what to call it, a salesman or some shit like that. I'm more of a hunter.
And man, your energy is getting me fired up right now. So I think that sells it on itself in terms of going into the fight. But this one right here, coming obviously off the aftermath of the middleweight title fight, like the timing couldn't be better to make a statement. Just what did you think of Dricus and Izzy last weekend? Were you surprised by how that fight went, the result? Just give me kind of your take on how that all went down.
I wouldn't say I was too surprised. It was one of the results that I had envisioned. Um, but it was still a competitive match. I thought Israel looked good, having been off for a year. Maybe there may have been a little bit of rust involved, and I don't know, maybe a lack of sense of urgency when the guy was taking his back. But I thought it was a good match. I thought both of those guys looked good. I thought Israel's his distance. Of course, he's one of the best at managing distance and countering and throwing some long strikes and stuff like that. And I thought DDP's kicks looked really well. I thought his kicks for me were the highlight of his fight. His kicks had done really well. Caught Izzy off guard. They were really quick, really strong, and even some of his punches were probably heavier than a lot of us, or than some people may give him credit for. So yeah, he seems like a clubber in there. That's the term that comes into the mind when I see him, like a clubber, a big, heavy, strong who knows how to grapple and be heavy, make it be weighted. You know what I'm saying, when he's grappling you. So yeah, it was a good fight. Good for him. Congratulations to him. He remains the champion and still, and yeah, the future of the middleweight division is definitely intriguing, to say the least, right now.
Yeah. So you seem like maybe you're not as like perplexed by Dricus's success as some other people are. They're just like, how, he doesn't look the smoothest in there, but he just continues to find a way to win. Is that kind of your take on it, or do you see something different from him?
No, I can see the effects of his fighting style in his fights. You know what I mean? He explodes in towards you, but he's not like crashing into you like uncontrollably. You know what I mean? If he's crashing into you, he's crashing into you like a wrecking ball, so he can go through you, if anything. He's fast, he's explosive, he's strong, and his kick, like I said, his kicks are really good. So I'm not surprised. There's it's mixed martial arts. It's not just one refined style that's going to be successful in this game. So yeah, I think everybody's looking for that aesthetic. Everybody wants aesthetics. You know what I mean? And that's not the game we play. That's not the game I'm playing. I'm not trying to be pretty in there. I do want my shit to be pretty. Don't get me wrong, but it ain't got to be pretty. It just has to be effective. And his shit was effective enough to retain his title and get all that money that's going to come with it. So I don't care if you think it's pretty or not. The dude's winning.
Yep. And I know you said earlier you're taking the pressure off yourself when it comes to, that title and all that, but he has beat already most of those guys, like at the very, very top of the rankings. Like Hamzat would maybe be the new fresh face if he beats Whitaker, but like you obviously haven't fought him, and maybe trying to get a rematch with Izzy when he was the champion would have been a little more difficult of a road, like knowing that you are a fresh face. And if you could string together a couple of the right wins, does that make you feel maybe a little more confident in your path to the title than if Israel was still that guy there?
My confidence in getting there does not waver. It doesn't matter who has the title. I think my awareness of, how things go to get to the title changes depending on who has the title. I don't think the matchmakers and the general public aren't too, not to say the matchmakers aren't, but if I prove myself, I'm sure the matchmakers will make that fight if it was easy. But yes, with DDP being the champion, I do have a better chance of getting a fresh title shot. But I think Whitaker has more of a better chance of getting it because he's been sitting up there since his last fight with Israel. That's been what, 2, 3, 4 years ago, almost 3 years ago, 2 years ago. So again, I'm aware of the landscape out there. So I personally feel Whitaker is up there. If Whitaker beats Hamza, I think that solidifies himself as the next title contender. I kind of feel bad for the guy, man. I think he's already earned his title plenty of times over, but I don't know what to say about that, So
yeah.
But yes, I'm definitely gonna be doing my thing Saturday night to try to raise some eyebrows, wow the crowds, and put my name back in the mix.
Yeah, and I guess just last thing before I let you go here. I mean, if you like, we kind of know Caio's primarily a grappler. I think he just got like his first TKO in the last fight against Paul Craig, at least in the UFC. Do you feel like if he can't get you down with consistency here, he's going to be in deep trouble on the feet?
I don't think he's going. I think he's going to be in trouble, even if he does get me down, because he won't be able to keep me down. And if he ends up on the bottom, it's not going to be too good for him down there either. So I got all the confidence in my ground game. There's a reason why I don't know why people think my ground game isn't good. I haven't been submitted in the UFC. I haven't been submitted in my career. And when I was green, I fought Glover Teixeira. I spent a lot of time underneath him and didn't get tapped. And I was green as far as my grappling goes back then. And I'm much better now. I'm attacking you guys. If you guys think you want to take me down, you're more than welcome to try.
Love it. That's a great way to end it, Jared. I really appreciate your time, man. Glad to see you back in there and looking forward to this on Saturday. I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Thank you, Mike.